what's up? It's your girl AB, and this is another episode of 30, Flirty, and Thriving. And today we are here with Cracka.
What's up, everyone?
What's up? First of all, what's up with the name? What does that mean?
The name. So when I first got started, it was more so like kind of making fun of myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a friend who was black and started rapping, and then me and him did everything together. So he was like, "Yo, you should do it too." And I'm thinking, I'm white, I'm gonna rap, you know, I'm not Eminem. And he was like, "Why don't you do what Eminem did in 8 Mile and kind of like make fun of yourself?" So I was like, I'm gonna be Cracka, the white rapper. And he was like, "Yeah, that's dope." So I actually went by Cracka, like just Cracka, for a few months. And then when I started making beats, I needed like a producer tag. And one day I happened to say like Crack-a-lack on the track. And so that was like the high school thing, you know, to be in the hallways and people like, Crack-a-lack on the track, Crack-a-lack on the track.
Gotcha. It's dope though. It has a nice little ring to it.
Yeah, I used to be super insecure about the name. Just, you know, I remember, so I used to be an artist from like 15 to probably like 23. And so when I would be in the clubs and like performing and stuff, and I'm introducing myself to different people there, and they're like, and I say my name, they're like, Crack-a-lack. I'm like, Cracka what? Crack-a-lack. I'm like, Cracka what?
Did you ever feel the need to have to explain your name? Like, oh, it was like a funny moniker at first? Or you just kind of owned it, like?
Yeah, I just owned it,
Okay.
I guess, yeah.
We just had this conversation about the name 30, Flirty, and Thrive, and as soon as I said it, I was like, don't let the name misguide you. Because I kind of have to think about that. I feel like initially the podcast started because of me. That's why I did it. But then it was like, what it's about is really, it has nothing to do with that. So it can be misleading.
It's a catchy name, though.
For sure. So it actually came from a movie, from a 90s movie. You probably know it. 13 going on 30?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see?
I don't know. It's a girl movie.
Yeah, it is. So you used to rap.
Yeah.
You're a videographer,
Yeah.
producer,
Yeah.
podcast host.
Yeah, that's the new one.
That's the new one.
That's
5
the new
weeks,
one.
right?
5 weeks going strong.
And what's the name of your podcast?
Free game with crack.
Free game. And there is a ton of free games. So if you are anywhere near the music industry at all, or any type of creative, photographer, videographer, anything, you definitely want to subscribe to his podcast, because I watch it and there's so many gems on there that I learned, and he has a lot of good people on there. So
far so good. I'm trying not to settle, and I want to get like the biggest and best people that I can reach right now to get it off the ground as fast as I can.
awesome. So anything else besides producer, rapper, podcast host?
Yeah, obviously a father and a boyfriend, and I'm an entrepreneur, so I have an online CD duplication company. It's $1cdduplication.com, and then I also co-own World Legacy Clothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have a website where everybody can find all of your?
So each business is kind of like its own thing. So like for the studio, I have the crackhouserecordingstudio.com. For me,
Say that one more time.
crackhouserecordingstudio.com.
Crackhouserecordingstudio.com.
We're live in the crack house.
We're in the crack house, y'all.
So I hope that this is the nicest crack house that we all have seen. But yeah,
I mean, for those of us who have seen other crack houses.
Yeah, then the CD duplication is $1cdduplication.com. The World Legacy Clothing is worldlegacyclothing.com. That's it so far.
Okay.
You know.
What are your dreams for the future? Like, because you said that's it so far, and I get the feeling you've got way bigger dreams.
Yeah, I have 2 other businesses that I'm hoping are like launched by the end of this quarantine.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about them?
I'll say that they go hand in hand with what I'm already doing.
Okay.
So it's kind of like that kind of describes all the things that I do. So I'm kind of a one-stop shop for any artist. So let's say you're a rapper or a singer. Step 1 to making music is you need a beat. That's always been like the main thing that I did was Crack-a-lack on the track, right? So I make beats, and then next is you need a studio to record and get the song mixed and mastered, and that's what happens here. And then the next step would be to shoot a music video. So I shoot music videos, and then I've been doing coaching calls for the last 2 months, and the common thing that I'm finding, whether it's producers or videographers or artists, that they all need help with this, like the same thing. So I'm gonna start a business that solves that problem.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So you do a lot. You kind of sound like me, but like on steroids. how do you fit in the other part of that, the home life, the being a father, the being a boyfriend, and taking care of home?
It's hard. I mean, I think the hardest part is like the time management. So you sacrifice certain shit. Like there'll be times where Alyssa's gonna take, my daughter's name is Maya, to the park, and it's like, damn, I really want to go with them, but her taking her to the park is gonna give me these 2 hours that I need to get these things done. So when she comes back, I'm gonna make sure that I'm done by then. So that's like the deadline in my head. She'll be back in 2 hours. I got to get this done, and then it's family time for 3 hours. And then I know I have to leave to go to the studio at this time. So I try to like make the time that, even if it's little time, that it's like valuable.
How do you stay organized?
I'm super like OCD. I write down everything, like a to-do list. I have a marker board. I have a calendar, a 10-pack of pens. Every pen's a different color, and all my bills are in red. And I write on the calendar. And anytime I have studio bookings, that's the royal blue. Anytime I drop a YouTube video, that's the green. Like.
So what got you into all this? What inspired you to start, pursuing music, either as a rapper or even producing? What were your early days like?
I would say, because it was in high school, so my sophomore, junior, senior year of high school, and at that time it was just more so for fun, like discovering it, seeing that I liked doing it. I obviously wasn't good at that. We all sucked in the beginning, but I stuck with it, and I can say I'm good today. But in the beginning I was trash, but I'm thankful for that, because that's how I build up and get better. But yeah, it wasn't a for real thing. And then once it got to graduating high school, when shit gets real and you feel like you're gonna be a loser if you don't go to college, I knew that I wanted to be like a professional, world famous music producer or a rapper. And I knew that didn't come from going to college, so I didn't want to go to college at all.
Gotcha.
And I didn't go to college.
So did you ever get like a 9-to-5? Did you ever work a regular job? Yeah,
so from like when I was 18, I worked at GNC, like the supplement store. So my dad does construction, so I was like the general $8 an hour. Go pick up the 100 pieces of wood and bring them from there to there. All right, that's what I'll do for the next 4 hours. So I did stuff like that just to have enough money to get by until I was about 21. And then around this time, I had a few local people that knew I did music and had heard the music, and so like they heard my music, and whether they were a fan of like me as an artist or not, they still liked my beats, or they still liked my quality. So I realized, okay, I can make some money, from doing that. It was more so like, who makes your beats? I do. Well, how much would you charge me to make beats for me? Oh, okay, I can make some money doing this. Who records and mixes your songs? I do. How much would you charge to do that for me? So I turned into the entrepreneur and started doing that. And then I really just like kind of got deep with paying attention to like time management. And I was thinking, if I had a job, back then minimum wage was like, I want to say $8, somewhere around the $8 range or $7 range. And I remember just going over the math, like, okay, 8-hour shift, it's about $56 or whatever it was, and then take home would be like $50. That's going there for 8 hours. At this time, I was doing like $25 an hour for studio time, so I was thinking, man, I'd rather do 2 hours of studio time. I should just go all in. And I remember I was turning, so the last time I had a job, I was 21. I'm 31 today.
Okay.
So it's been a decade.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And yeah, my daughter was born when I was 23.
Okay, because that was going to be my next question. Was this all before? So you kind of got this going before you had a child.
Yeah, I had a good 2 years of making, and it's kind of been every year. It was like I was making just enough to get by, which is maybe like $10,000 off of music stuff. And then maybe the next year, so when I was 22, I might have made like 20,000, and then kind of went up to like 30 or 40, and then it was every year it's went up. But in the beginning, it was very like wishy-washy, where it might be consistent to where, man, I'm making a lot of money, but then a few weeks go by and it's like, I wonder who's hiring. Am I
Right.
gonna have to get a job? Is this gonna be long term consistent? And I would worry, and then my phone would start ringing. So like once it would slow down to where I would even consider and get really serious about looking for a job, my phone would start ringing, and so it was like a sign. And so
Did you ever struggle with, what do I charge? Am I charging too much? Ugh.
So like I would say where we are today, I'm kind of in that boat because it's been a long time, and so there's certain artists who I've been working with for a few years, and so like a few years ago my prices were lower, so every year it's like my it's kind of they say fame doesn't equal fortune, but in certain cases fame does equal fortune, and what I've noticed is every year I get more popular, and every year I get better, and every year my prices go up. And so it kind of comes with it. So every year I have to charge more, and even like the hourly rate at the studio, probably every year it goes up $5 to $10, and then the same thing with music videos, everything goes up. And so when my price first goes up, those first phone calls where it's like I'm thinking this person's used to $500, and I have to tell them at the beginning is $1,000. So I always have to give this like. I don't have to do any of this shit, but I choose to give all the context. And so I just tell them like, look man, I've been so busy and I'm doing this and the studio's going and everyone wants a video at $500, and so much that I can't fully commit to going all in and doing everything that I can to make sure that it's a fire video. I want to do like next level shit, and I'm limiting myself by what I'm charging with a lot of these. So it's like I have to charge enough to where I can really devote my time and energy to give it everything. And so as like the supply and demand, as your time becomes more and more in demand, your supply of time runs lower, so that's when you charge more. And so that's what I've always...
And real quick, so you do a vlog also, which we didn't talk about earlier, but on that vlog, for those listening, when he's talking about, kind of like making sure that he's getting the most bang for his buck and allocating his time appropriately, he does a lot of tutorials on how to make really great videos and how to do special effects. So you're doing that on top of everything, but also giving away game for free, and even the free game with Crack podcast. So there's a lot of value to what you provide outside of, okay, you in a session with me, this is how much it's going to be. But in addition to that, like just having that connection where they can say, hey, I watched your podcast, or I was watching that vlog, and have that personal relationship to you where they can like ask a follow-up question or something. That value is much more than, I don't want to say any dollar amount, but really, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people are so stingy with information. I don't want to tell you how to do the tricks in the video because that's my thing, and I don't, want no competition or whatever.
I've learned from like the expert millionaires is to like give away the game, and there's only one Cracka like this world. There's only one Amber. So even if I gave someone a blueprint on how I shoot a music video and I give them my camera, it's not gonna be the same video that I do.
Yep. Yeah. There's like, I always use the analogy, if you go into the grocery store to buy bread, there's like 50 different brands of bread, and yet they're still all there, still all for sale, and you can choose because everybody has a different recipe. So I love that. I go by that same concept. I think it's cool to give away information in addition to everything that you already do. So I know you said you're working on 2 additional business ventures that you hope to release by the end of quarantine. But let me ask you, how has quarantine been for you? Like, has it disrupted or changed the way that you do business at all?
It's been a blessing. So 2 things. One, the studio shut down because it's supposed to be shut down, and then I stopped shooting music videos. So the first week to 2 weeks of quarantine was really getting caught up on anything that I've been paid for, or videos I needed to edit. And after 2 weeks, for like the first time in maybe 8 years, I was like current, to where it's like, holy shit, I have a big list of stuff that I wanted to do, needed to, like the podcast was something that I've been wanting to do for 2 years, but usually my phone always rings, so I never have that downtime to do like niche shit. And I've been doing niche shit every single day, to the point that when I can try to so I've been doing the me shit every single day, that I fell in love with that. And it's like, this stuff makes me feel alive. Doing, session after session in the studio, that's what I do to like make a living but it doesn't make me feel alive.
Right.
And so once the studio did open back illegally a week ago,
kind of with social distancing protocols in place, so that it's still illegal.
Man, it just it hit me, but in like a negative way. And so that's why I was telling you before, like I'm hiring 2 new engineers and hopefully 3 to 4 to kind of remove myself from being the guy that sits in the studio all day doing sessions, because that I'm holding myself back by doing that. And even if I set a price to $50 an hour, $60 an hour, $75 an hour, I have so much other things that I can, these are things that can be $250,000 a year businesses that only I can do, but I can't do it if I'm sitting right here all day.
So you're starting to build a team, essentially.
Build a team, yeah.
And what does that look like to you? Like, what do you really, for those, maybe somebody watching wants to be a part of the team, like what are you looking for in terms of people, like their personalities or their passions or their skill set? What do you hope to bring to the team just within the next 365 days?
I guess with each position is a different thing. So I would say the first person to my team is Malik, and what he provided was, honestly, the main thing that I said to him was giving a fuck. So he asked if he could shadow me shoot a music video, and I always say yes to people, like, yeah, my next shoot is this time, feel free to show up, whatever questions you have while I'm there, cool. And he showed up, and I remember I'm shooting the video, and I'm used to, like, I'm the one that gives the most fucks because I'm shooting the video, but I was paying attention to him out of my peripheral, like he was really watching what I did, and I was like, I like that energy around me. So then that led to, hey, I have another shoot this day, feel free to come there, whatever you want. And so he did, and the same thing, he was asking questions and then maybe suggesting like a creative idea, and I'm like, wow, I'm usually the only one that has the creative, that's what I'm hired there to do, to be the creative guy to come up with ideas. But when someone else was like, you could do this too, and I was like, holy shit, that's a good idea. Wow, like you're providing value. Like I want to keep you around more. And so I would say that is, one position, and then the other is like with the studio engineers, I don't want to hire, like I'm good at recording and mixing songs, but I'm not like I don't have dreams about recording and mixing songs. Like I'm not passionate about that. I love doing everything else that I do. That's more like a job to me. And so the guys that are going to be engineers here, like I had to talk with them about the context, where I'm coming from, what are the different things that are going on. And they're like, yo, I love recording and mixing songs. Like, that's my shit. And I'm like, okay, you're the one then, because I feel like that's what I want to send you. I've never been able to promote this studio, and as a business owner, that's not good, but it's because I'm being pulled, CD duplication orders, or a video shoot. Can you make a beat for me? I gotta go edit my own video, a vlog, I gotta do a podcast, family shit. I'm pulled in all these different directions, so I have limited amount of hours to dedicate to doing studio time. So when I'm saying, okay, let's say the demand is 80 hours a week, I'm only maybe willing to give 10 hours a week to studio time. But I do about 20 to 25, maybe 30, depending on it. So I'm telling a lot of people, no, I'm booked, no, I'm booked, no, I'm booked, no, I'm booked. As a business owner, you'd be like, you need other people in here. I'm never here on the weekends because that's when I always shoot music videos. So I'm closed every single weekend. Owning the studio, that's not a smart move. So I need a guy here that's available on the weekends. Boom, I found a guy who's available on the weekends. Now the studio can still be open and making money, and then it's helping him because he needs clientele. I have the clientele.
There you go.
So
do you have any, like, what's your favorite project that you worked on so far? Could be a music video, could be a song, could be anything, could be way back, something recent, podcast, whatever.
I would say, honestly, the podcast, just because that was like the beginning of me doing shit for me again. And it's been a long time, because when you're trying to make a living, you would think like, yo, can I get some studio time? Like, all right, I'll drop what I'm doing. I need some money. Can you shoot a video this day? I'm booked. I want to turn out. Yeah, I'll shoot it. Yep. And, so I'm always dropping, and it was kind of like I would do me stuff when I had the time, but I was always making sure I never had the time because I was always making money. But then it got to where, shit, like, fuck the money. I need to do these me things because they make me feel alive. And
absolutely.
that's like the podcast was like step one.
For sure.
That's a me thing. Like,
so that's your passion right now.
Yeah.
That's dope. Obviously, you've had the opportunity to work with different celebrities over the years and stuff like that. Did you ever have a moment where you're like, oh shit, I can't believe I'm really doing this? I can't believe I'm in the same room with this person or actually on the same level to where we're working together?
No.
No?
No.
Is it because you're just not that type of person and you're like, I don't care who I meet? Or is it like...
I don't know. I have a bad experience with like industry people and the way that their egos and
So let's talk about it. Should we hear? No, not necessarily. We ain't gonna name drop, but like, I've had mixed experiences with people in the industry as well. It's like some people seem cool as fuck and they got you and all the shit, and then others are just there's a lot of sharks.
Yeah, well, I'll name drop one dude. Okay, so a compliment story, right?
Okay.
So this is something that just happened, and it was through the podcast. There's a guy named Busy Works Beats. He's the first music producer to ever do like tutorials teaching people, teaching producers on YouTube. He's got 700,000 subscribers. Well, I just had him on my podcast, and then from doing that, I'm seeing the power in like collaborating, like what we're doing right here. When this video's done, I'm sure you'll send me some clips that I can post to my audience, and I'm cross-promoting you, and then you post it to your audience, cross-promotes me. And so my audience on YouTube is 21,000 people. His audience is 700,000, right? He's doing me a favor by, what else do you got in mind, man? I said, I'd really like to do a collab video that goes on your channel, and then do a collab video that goes on my channel. We'll cross-promote each other. We'll drop them the same day. And at the end of your video, you mention like, yo, me and Cracka like another video. I'll send, go check that out. And at the end of mine, I'll do that. He thanked me for the opportunity to do that.
Nice.
So what I'm saying is there are some huge legendary type people that don't have egos. And that I would credit to like them getting really far enough. And then I met a lot of people that shouldn't have egos, that have giant egos, and that's what's hindering them from like getting far in life. They're their own worst enemy. Yeah. And a lot of those people were like some, industry people, or
for sure.
Grab my phone, take a picture of me, and I take a picture of them holding $40,000. We go to an Atlanta strip club, and then they're like, "Yo, I just paid, give me 20." Let's take a picture of you holding $40,000. I make beats for you for free. This is 3-4 years ago. Yeah, so.
Do you ever, because you're involved in so many different things, you've got so many different eyes on you, do you ever have people trying to come to you with unsolicited advice? Like, oh, Craig, I see you doing, I love what you're doing, but maybe you should do this. Or like, that ain't gonna work for you in the long run. I'm gonna tell you like this because I done been there before. Like, do you ever have anybody in your ear trying to give you unsolicited advice about how you should run your business or do your brand? Or
I don't think so. I would say more so in the beginning. Yeah, a lot in the beginning, just because, like in business, you have the proof of concept. So like once it's like the Cracka proof of concept has already been proven. Like it works. So at this point, for someone to like try to do that, like it's already been proven. The business model.
Okay.
I'm sure that everyone has an opinion. Like someone's watching this right now, and be like, if you stop doing this in your beats, they'd be way better. Something like that. But to me, no.
They don't come to you with that.
That was one thing that I was worried about with giving out like the advice doing the tutorial videos, because I felt like, man, if I say this is how you do something, or like 3 tips to shoot better music videos or something like that, it's like I was really worried for a while about people having an opinion, like who are you to give advice or some shit. And it's like, well, once in the real world I was getting asked so many questions, it was like, instead of me, let's say I was telling you how to do something. The same thing with your podcast. Like you can ask me a question, and then there's unlimited amount of people that can watch this to find the answer. So that's where I felt. The other day, an artist asked me how to do this like smart URL fan link thing, where you can put your music video on Spotify, all these links, and he was like, "Yo, I want to learn how to do it. Do you think you could take your phone and like record your screen while you do it?" And I was like, "Well, shit. Let me top that. I'll get my real camera, set it up. I'll record my screen, and I will turn that into a YouTube video where potentially hundreds of thousands of up and coming artists can find that video and discover me.
Right.
You know, from putting that out there.
For sure. So what advice would you give someone who maybe wants to pursue a career in any of the endeavors that you've taken on, whether it's podcasting or if it's making beats or videography, just someone who's interested in the music industry as a whole even?
Just to get started, and like, don't be afraid of like looking bad in the beginning or sucking, because again, like I said earlier, like I was trash for many years, and it was like,
but you
hard.
stuck with it.
Yeah, I stuck with it. I was consistent, and I asked my dad to describe me in one word, and he said tenacious.
There you go.
So I got that tattoo back there. So yeah, I had tenacity, and that's what kept me going. So I feel like if you're interested in videos, like, start doing videos. If you're interested in beats, start doing beats. If you're interested in making music, like, make music. My pet peeve is people that don't do shit about it, but they say they want to do it.
Right.
So yeah, do something about it.
So if people want to find you, I'm going to give you an opportunity to shout out everywhere that they can find you and connect with you and look at some of your work.
Definitely my Instagram, that's Cracka_lack. I'm on Facebook, Cracka_lack. My YouTube is Cracka_lack TV. That's my main. So my New Year's resolution for 2020 was 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I started the year at 20,000. So going from 20,000 to 100,000 in a year, and a lot of it kind of was like altered with the, you know, the shutdown and shit like that. Like I had plans, I'm sure you did too, like to go to South by Southwest and, you know, some other places, and I had things set up, so it changed it, but, you know, I believe everything happens for a reason. So, but yeah, my YouTube, Cracka_lack TV. I am on Twitter. I don't really like Twitter. Do you like Twitter?
Twitter, it's my least favorite social media.
But yeah, I'm on there, Cracka_lack, and yeah.
So I have one more question before we go. How do you think that this coronavirus or the quarantine or just everything that's going on in the world right now, how do you think that has affected the industry? For instance, do you feel like A&Rs are looking for new talent? Do you feel like there's new, because like all the festivals got canceled, all the, I mean, even like a Common Ground, I'm sure is not happening, Mopop got canceled, the South by Southwest, like everything got canceled, concerts, tours are getting canceled. So obviously the way that most labels make their money is through touring, through merchandise, things like that, not off of record sales. So, I mean, have you talked to anybody about that? Have you thought about it at all?
The A&R guy that was on the podcast, he had mentioned that his business is thriving more now than it was before. Earlier today, I did this like producer mastermind Zoom call with like 70 of the top internet music producers in the world, and honestly everyone was saying, I know this is music producers, not artists, what you're asking, but everyone said their business is doing good. And even with me, like, you know, I'm not shooting music videos right now, but I mean, things are good right now.
Yeah, so it's maybe not as impactful, or at least not in all the areas.
Yeah, I would say it's a good time for, so some of the artists I've been doing calls with, I was telling them, like, the fun part of music, like you said with YP, he's been really creative, like he's writing songs and going to the studio, like that's the fun part. The important hard part is like the marketing in that field, and I feel like now in having the game plan, like now is the best time for artists or producers or for anyone to like cross your T's and dot your I's and come up with a game plan. Things that you might be lacking, like maybe you don't have merch available, maybe your website isn't set up, maybe you don't have like a Facebook tracking pixel on your website, or you need more content, or like shooting more videos. Like right now, you know, people are consuming a lot more content because they have time. And one thing I've noticed with, like, with myself is from having this time and not having my time being like obligated by, you know, customers and artists, I've put out twice as many videos on YouTube, and my YouTube is growing 3 times the amount. So I'm getting triple the growth, and I'm putting out double the videos. So it was cool for me. It was like if you've been working out for a long time and you finally are like, oh shit, I'm losing some weight, or I got some results. And so that's what it was for me, is like YouTube I've always been passionate about, but it's always like the last priority, because it's always like, if I shoot a video for you, you're my #1 priority. And then you know, if I'm supposed to be here, all of that comes first, and my own personal shit is always last. And yeah, it's kind of off topic too, but I hate feeling like a bullshitter. So it'd be like you saying, my cousin is getting into videos. Do you have any videos showing someone how to use a camera? And I'm like, I'm about to do a YouTube tutorial called How to Use Your Camera, something like that. And then you checked in with me 2 weeks later, like, hey, will you send me that video? And I'm like, I haven't done it yet, but I'm not a bullshitter, I'm not lazy. It's because I've been with customers and blah, blah, blah. So now I'm doing that. And that's like I'm telling Malik every day, like, yo, hold me obligated. Friday I have time. Friday we're doing this video no matter what, it's getting done. Like,
right.
Yeah, that's my main thing with being closed in quarantine is like anything that I've been wanting to do for a long time that I haven't had time, or I coulda, woulda, shoulda done, didn't have time. Now I have the time, so it's getting done for sure. So
now's a good time to strategize. Now's a good time to get creative, to create whatever it is that you do. If you create beats, make a lot of beats. If you create music, get the pen in the pad, start writing, and record. Just create, and strategize. Because, you know, as you're talking, I'm just thinking, like, we had this whole, for YP, we had this whole strategy of, it was going to be a year of festivals. We were performing at everything, and we were going to just essentially try to appeal to the masses to grow his fan base. Well, that went to shit. Yeah. So he's been creating, and I've been racking my brain about how can I re-strategize and kind of take this online instead of offline and do all the, you know, figure out the marketing stuff, and how can we reach out to people, you know, that maybe we would have normally had the opportunity to connect with that festival. So yeah, definitely strategize and create. One more time, how can people find you?
Just search Cracka anywhere.
Cracka, all right.
Cracka
Cracka on the beat.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. That's a wrap.